Hi, and welcome back to the Citizen channel. I hope you're all staying very, very well. And we're back for the Benjamin Mendy, Louis Saha Matturie trial update after, it feels like a long time since we were at this, to be honest with you. No explanation as to why this trial didn't resume on Monday. So we're at Wednesday now, day 45, the 30th of November 2022. So let's get on with what happened in court today as the judge continued his summing up. Please, if you are new to the channel, everything's City, of course, mainly football, but this is a side issue, of course, involved with an interest for City fans and football fans and fans in general, or people in general, obviously. So, yes, please push that subscribe button, push the bell notifications. Great to have you on board. Spread the word. And if you've got a chance just to press that little like button, it'd be much appreciated by an old City fan who tries his best to give you lots of information. Right, let's have a go. To summarise, Mr. Mendy, 28, is accused of 7 counts of rape against 4 women, 1 count of attempted rape and 1 count of sexual assault. The offences alleged to have taken place at his Cheshire home between October 2018 and August 2021. Relating to 7 women in total. Mr. Matturie from Eccles is accused of 6 counts of rape and 3 counts of sexual assault relating to 7 women. Judge Stephen Everett resides, as ever, at Chester Crown Court, and my thanks, I must say, as ever, to the Manchester Evening News for their timeline, their court reporters. Today are Rebecca Day and Simon Coyle, and it all kicked off and got away at 11:09 this morning. Judge Stephen Everett continued to sum up the evidence in the case, and jurors are reminded of the evidence related to woman 1. It has been summed up over the last 2 or 3 days, and prosecution and the defence have finished their summing up. So the judge is sort of doing his little version of it now. Jurors are reminded of the evidence relating to woman 1, who accused Mr. Mendy of attempting to rape her at his home in October 2018. Jurors are reminded that the prosecution case is that the woman met Mr. Mendy and his friends abroad in late 2017. The judge says that while woman 1 accepts flirting with one of Mr. Mendy's friends, she says she was not interested in Mr. Mendy himself. The following year, the same friend invited woman 1 to stay at Mr. Mendy's home. During her stay, woman 1 joined Mr. Mendy, his friend, and several others on a night out in Manchester. During the course of the night, it's suggested that the defendant made a comment about kidnapping. Judge Everett reminds jurors. Everybody agrees it was a light-hearted comment. He has Mr. Mendy was showing some interest in her. Jurors are reminded that woman 1 spent the night in a bedroom with Mr. Mendy's friend. She accuses of Mr. Mendy of attempting to rape her. There is an element of agreement between the prosecution and defence, the judge says. It is not in dispute that Mr. Mendy turned up in the bedroom where she was showering somewhere out of the blue. The prosecution case is that he was not a welcome party. She was naked and trying to cover herself with a towel. She went in the bedroom and there was a somewhat undignified struggle. The prosecution say he, in the course of that, attempted to rape her. Jurors are reminded that Mr. Mendy's case is that woman 1 had flirted with him the previous evening, a suggestion she does not accept. His case is there was some sexual chemistry between the two of them, the judge adds. Mr. Mendy's case is that woman 1 was happy to have sexual contact with him, jurors are told. Judge Everett adds his case is yes, there was sexual touching, but it was consensual and he did not attempt to penetrate her vagina. The jury is now being reminded of evidence relating to allegations made by woman 2. Mr. Mendy is accused of 3 counts of rape against her in October 2020. Judge Everett tells jurors that prosecutors allege that Mr. Mendy snatched the woman's phone off her while he was at her home. Mr. Mendy is accused of taking the phone to a bedroom where he allegedly raped the woman in 3 different ways. The prosecution case is it was all forced upon her, the judge reminds jurors. The defendant's case is yes, indeed they did go into a bedroom after he had taken her phone, but she had shown him a private section of her phone showing her performing oral sex, something she denies. It's the defendant's case that he asked her to perform oral sex, which she agreed to do. Jurors are reminded about prosecution claims that Mr. Mendy snatched the woman's phone from her after he spotted her using it during the party at his home. The judge reminds the jury that Mr. Mendy says he took the phone as he was worried that the woman was taking photographs. He had previously been fined £200,000 by Pep Guardiola after the City boss discovered the defender had hosted a party in breach of the lockdown restrictions, jurors hear. The Manchester City manager had managed to identify where the lockdown party was because of the picture of Muhammad Ali on the wall, Judge Everett says. The judge reminds jurors that evidence about complaints being made is not independent evidence about the alleged offences. It's important you keep in mind that the person who any person made a complaint to was not present when it happened, he tells them. They did not see what happened and are unable to verify it. Jurors are told they must use such evidence to decide whether a complainant has been consistent in what they are alleging and whether the allegations are true. Jurors are now being reminded of the evidence relating to woman 3 who accuses Benjamin Mendy of sexually assaulting her during a party at his home in January 2021. Summing up the prosecution case, the judge says the woman alleges that Mr. Mendy grabbed her vagina as they passed one another in the kitchen. The woman says Mr. Mendy later made a licking gesture to her to give oral sex, jurors are reminded. Judge Everett reminds jurors that the woman remained at the party and video footage later showed her dancing near to Mr. Mendy. Mr. Mendy's case is that there was no sexual touching, simple as that, says Judge Everett. He accepts at some stage he may have accidentally brushed against her leg while he was walking past her, but that was nothing sexual about the way he touched her. Jurors are told that Mr. Mendy also denies making a licking gesture towards woman 3. At 1:11 p.m, the trial adjourned for lunch. It was a long lunch. They come back in at approximately 3:40. The trial resumed following this delay. The judges continued to sum up the evidence relating to the alleged sexual assault involving woman 3. He reminds jurors that the woman told the court that following the alleged offence, Mr. Mendy approached her in the swimming pool and asked if she was okay. The woman said she told Mr. Mendy she did not like the way he touched her, jurors are told. She alleges that Mr. Mendy seemed surprised and apologised and said he didn't intend to do anything, says the judge. Jurors are now being reminded of the evidence relating to woman 4, who accuses Mr. Mendy of raping her at his home in July 2021. The woman alleges that she was raped after Mr. Mendy invited her downstairs to a pool area during a party. She says Mr. Mendy raped her despite her constantly giving a series of excuses not to have sex. However, Judge Everett tells the jury that Mr. Mendy's defence case is that he and woman 4 had consensual sex. And at 4:22 p.m, the trial adjourned and the jury was sent home. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we will continue to bring you updates tomorrow. So please join me. Let me know your comments. It'd be great to hear from you. Until we meet again, unless one thing, don't I? Please stay safe, everyone. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.